Cesar Chavez is one of those names that we're taught to say with reverence. And honestly, he's earned that respect in many ways. But if we're serious about honoring him and the people he fought for, we have to tell the whole story, not just the parts that make us comfortable. So, Cesar Chavez was a champion for farm workers. He led strikes and boycotts. He went on hunger strikes to protest violence and exploitation. He forced grocery stores and rich Americans to see the people who were picking their food. He won contracts that improved pay, banned pesticides, and demanded dignity for farm workers. And none of that is a lie. He did real, transformative work. He made invisible labor impossible to ignore. But here's the part they don't put on the posters. Chavez wasn't gentle. He wasn't some flawless saint. He was an organizer who demanded absolute loyalty. And if you questioned his authority, you were out. He purged some of his best, most radical organizers, all because he wanted control. He built the union in his vision, and he didn't want anyone changing that. And then there's his stance on undocumented workers. This is the part that makes people uncomfortable. Because Chavez saw undocumented migrants as a threat. He wasn't imagining it. Growers did use undocumented workers as strikebreakers to break union power. Economically, he understood the dynamic. But his response, it was harsh. It was ugly. So in the 1970s, Chavez and the United Farm Workers, they set up literal patrols on the Arizona-Mexico border. Union members in trucks, union money. They physically blocked migrants from crossing the desert. They weren't just patrolling for show. They were cooperating with INS, which stood for the Immigration and Naturalization Service. ICE before ICE. They were reporting people, handing them over for deportation. They called it protecting union jobs. They called it stopping strikebreakers, but let's be real. They were intercepting desperate people looking for work and helping them get deported. And Chavez wasn't hiding it. He testified before Congress in 1979 asking for stronger border enforcement. This wasn't behind closed doors. It was policy. It was strategy. He didn't see undocumented workers as fellow exploited laborers. He saw them as weapons used by growers to destroy the union. So he treated them like enemies. And after the union's big wins in the 1960s, it struggled. Growers mechanized crops so they didn't need as many pickers. They fought contracts in court. They replaced striking workers with undocumented labor. And Chavez's answer was to double down. Centralize, clamp down, refuse to adapt. And by the 1980s, the union was a shell of what it had been. And the fields, they were still full of exploited, underpaid workers, many of them undocumented. The very people that he'd once tried to keep out. But here's the hardest truth. Cesar Chavez wasn't a villain. He did some evil things, yeah. He was a man fighting a brutal system with brutal tools. Cesar Chavez was complex. I think we can all agree. He was brave, he was strategic, he was flawed. He lifted up thousands while shutting others out. So, if we really want to talk about him, I think we should be willing to tell the whole story. Because maybe the question we should be asking isn't, was he a hero? But what can we learn from everything that he got right and everything he got wrong?